Hi, I'm Jennifer from the Wooster branch of the Wayne County Public Library, back today with another bullet journal video. In the last video, I showed you some of the basics of hand lettering and how you can switch up simple print and script lettering in easy ways. All of those techniques that I showed you last time can be done with almost any pen, from ballpoint to fine felt tip to marker. But if you have a brush pen, like so, you can create hand lettering that looks more like traditional calligraphy. Now, it's going to take some practice and possibly a lot of it. Learning how to use the brush pen properly requires patience and some control in order to get the thin and thick strokes that give brush lettering its distinctive look. So, I highly recommend you look online for printable practice sheets for your lettering. What I'm going to do today is walk you through some of the basics using some free printables that I've found on Pinterest. Keep in mind, I'm still learning brush lettering too, and I'm not an expert, so I may make some mistakes as I go along. But I'm going to practice with you here today, so let's get started.
First, let's talk about pens. There are a number of different brands of brush pens out there, but what I use is the Tombow dual tip brush pen. It has the brush on one end and then a thinner point marker at the other end, which is useful sometimes for smaller lettering. I don't have any experience with other brush pens, so I don't want to say that any one brand is better than another. But because of the wide variety of colors that are available, a lot of people do like these Tombow pens. Next, how you hold the brush is absolutely key to how your letters turn out. To get that good definition between the thin and thick strokes, you want to hold the tip at about a 45-degree angle, which doesn't show up as well with the overhead camera. We'll try that way. And you want a medium grip on the pen so that you can move the pen through the strokes easily and smoothly. You'll also want to pay attention to how much pressure you use in writing. The more pressure you use, the thicker your lines will be. So I will show you here on this drills page that's a printable from Pinterest. So if I do a fairly light line, comes out like that. If I do more pressure, you can see the line is thicker. With brush lettering, we want to break down each letter into these basic strokes. Now remember from the last video, hand lettering is drawing, and by breaking each letter into basic strokes, it's easier to think about how you're drawing instead of writing. So let's start with some of these drills, practicing those basic strokes. So this is just the simple downstroke, which tends to be thicker. This one is the upstroke, which is using more of the tip of your pen, so it's going to be lighter, like so. Down, you can put the pressure on to do a wider line. Going up, it's much thinner. Now, as you can see, we've got some curves to work with that incorporate both the upstroke and the downstroke. So we'll start here with this, going up first and then adding your pressure as you come down. And the nice thing about these printables is it really gives you that visual cue as to where you're adding the pressure on the downstroke. Now this reverses it. This comes down first, and then we lift up the pressure as we go up. And you can see my upstrokes are a little shaky here. They're not a consistent thickness of a line. Something I need to work on. And this combines them again with an upstroke, downstroke, and then up. Up, down, and up. Or you can do more of a circle or an oval. So we're going to come down and up, down, curl it around and come up. This one, you think of it more as a C going backwards, but light, heavier pressure, and then light. You can see I changed the angle on my pen here so it was a little bit more like a 30-degree, and that's why there's much less definition between the upstroke and the down. So let's try that again. Okay. This one, you've got kind of a loop, and you can either think of this as the precursor to an E or an L, or this would be like the top of an H or a B. So we'll do upstroke with the loop, and then thicker downstroke. And to go in the opposite direction for your tails on something like a G or a J, downstroke, and then around. Again, make sure, check your angle. So that's running drills just to get you the feel for each of these different strokes. Some of these printables you can find for free, so you might print out multiple copies and just keep drilling yourself. Maybe 5 to 10 minutes each day. And you'll see eventually that this gets easier and easier to do. So then you can move on to practicing letters. And we have either some capital letters here, or I'm going to work on some lowercase letters. Now, you have to kind of think through this, first of all, to see what are the basic strokes I'm putting together here. With the A, you've got that sort of C curve, and then a down, separate that out, stop, lift your pen, and then do a downstroke with a quick upstroke. With your B, again, you're going to do that sort of loop. So upstroke, heavy downstroke, and stop there. And then upstroke, and then another little loop going that way. So let me show you. Hold your pen at the right angle. We're going to do up, down, up, pick it up, down, and up. And remember, I said I'm not an expert at this, so these are not the best I could come up with. This is why we're practicing. Okay, and let's try B. And then C is much simpler, but that doesn't mean you can slack off on the angle of the pen. Now you can see here, My lines are not even thickness, so that's something I need to work on. That one's better. So as you start, go slow and just pay attention to the angle of the pen, your upstroke being lighter, and then when it switches over to a thicker pressure downstroke, and then up again. Just get a feel for how that pressure is going to change as you move through the letter. Once you've practiced a bunch of letters, then maybe you want to go on to some words. So here's just a simple how you can do the months either in print or in script. And I'm just going to write right over them. So I'll start here with the print. Now, as you noticed as I was writing, I was doing individual strokes, picking them up, and then doing the others. So that's something you'll want to think about as well. With print, it's kind of easy to see where your downstrokes and upstrokes are, and easy to just say, okay, just downstroke, and then these other ones to the side. Especially on your letters that start with a straight downstroke. But when you get to something curved, like the U, pay attention then for where your pressure changes as you go from down to up. Or with your A, you know, it occurs to me I just did that A going up instead of down. My mistake. Let's try that again on March, okay? So let's do a downstroke. Oh, that looks better. Like so. And then when you come here to the lowercase script, let's just ignore the flourishes at the beginning and the end to start with. So let's do J. And then we'll come back and add the flourish here at the beginning. So once you've gotten a feel for the letters and putting them together in words, you might want to try adding flourishes, like we had there. The best and easiest places to add flourishes are going to be, say, at the beginning or the end of a word, or when you have letters that have ascenders or descenders. Now, by that I mean, think of your writing being on these lines. Your ascenders are going to be the letters that go above the line, like H, B, T, and your descenders go below the line, like Y and G and J. Now, your flourishes can be fairly simple or much more elaborate, but start small and see what works best for you. Again, you can find practice sheets like this that will help you find your own style. So I'm going to skip these up here for now, and let's just take a look at Y, because that's one where it's kind of natural to add that little flourish at the end sometimes. So we'll just do this, downstroke and up, and then the downstroke with the loop at the bottom, and bring it out. Try that again. You can do more elaborate flourishes like this on an M. To me, that's not as comfortable as going out this way, but take a look at what works for you and see if that is something you want to do. Or we can come back down here and work on our descenders again. Let's try the word go. We'll do a big loop underneath and up. Now where you have a word that has two descenders, you want to be careful because it can get really crowded down here. So the J I've only taken as far as where I'm going to do the Y. And then the Y can come up here. Okay? Now flourishes can also go under letters. And as you can see from this page, there's a whole lot of different options you can try. You can do just a simple S kind of curve like this. You can do something that's more of a curlicue. Okay, that one's hard to do. I haven't done that before. Or, let's see. We've got one here that would look good under a word, so let's try that. Or there's this clever heart one, which is going to be mostly upstrokes, so let's take it slow. So something like this will help you practice different ways of creating flourishes. And yes, this is a little trickier than doing the letters, especially when all of these are crowded together and you're writing and you can't see where the flourish ends. That's kind of a problem. But it gets you the feel for example, with this one, you're going to do kind of a loop-de-loop. And how does that work? Or how do you turn that upside down? And change the curve around. You can have lots of fun playing with this. You can also get really frustrated, so just see what works for you. If you find that you enjoy brush lettering, you can find a lot more inspiration and more practice sheets online, especially through Pinterest. You just want to search for free printables, brush lettering, that kind of thing. Just keep practicing to see if you can duplicate the letters and the flourishes that you're finding on these practice sheets. It might be frustrating at first. On flourishes, I can guarantee you it's going to be frustrating at first, but keep practicing and soon you'll be creating some beautiful brush lettering for your own journal.
Well, we've covered all the basics when it comes to bullet journals, so thanks for sticking with me through this video series. In the next and final video, I'll go through an entire monthly setup to show you how to put together what you've learned in this video series. Don't forget, the Bullet Journalists group meets the third Saturday of every month on Zoom, and we talk about what we're learning from using our journals, as well as sharing some ideas. If you're interested in joining us, you can register for the Zoom meeting through a link on Facebook or through the calendar of events on the library website at wcpl.info. And until the next time, happy journaling!